So today we're going to work on multiplying and dividing our positive and negative integers. Let's look at this example here. Jake really wanted to put his allowance to good use last weekend. He took out $2 on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to buy a Gatorade at the park each day. How much money did he take out of his piggy bank? See if you can come up with an equation that would match that question. He's taking out $2. So is that going to be a positive 2 or a negative 2? Negative 2. And it's 3 days he's at the park. So we're multiplying that by 3. So this is the same as like if we had $2 for Saturday, $2 for Sunday, and $2 for Friday, right? His 3 days. All together, how much money did Jake take out? 6. And since he's taking it out, it has to be a negative 6. Remember when you were learning about multiplication? Multiplication is just the same as repeated addition. So this is why when you multiply a negative times a positive, your answer is going to be negative. Now, if we were multiplying a negative times a negative, this gives us a positive. So if we're multiplying, if it had been negative 3 times negative 2, it would have been a positive 6. Now, we're not going to use that multiplication sign. Remember how I talked about this year we're going to be using variables. So the time sign is an X, and that could be confused with a variable. So sometimes you're going to see multiplication written with a little dot like this. Write that down so you have that example also. And sometimes you just see it written next to each other like this. Now don't get it confused, because in our last unit we had a parentheses like this. Notice the difference here. There's a plus sign in the middle. So this means you're adding the two numbers. Here, when there's no plus sign, you're multiplying. Let's take a look at this question here. During the summer, the height of the water at the school pool decreased 64 inches due to evaporation. What is the change in the height of the water over a 16-week period? Let's practice writing an equation. See if you can write an equation to match this question. So you want to think it decreased 64 inches. So is that going to be a positive or a negative? Negative. And it's over the whole 16-week period. So we're going to divide that by 16. So how many inches per week did it decrease? 4. A positive or negative? It's decreasing. Negative. This is why here, just like when we multiply, a negative divided by a positive is always going to be a negative. You could think of it, if the signs disagree, if they're opposite signs, your answer is negative. If the signs are the same, they are agreeing, so they are positive. So opposite signs, your answer is always going to be negative. This is also like repeated subtraction, right? If you subtracted each time, you would get -4 there. So this time, a negative divided by a negative is going to give us a positive, right? The signs are agreeing, so your answer is positive. So -24 divided by -8 gives me +3. Now remember, we use this slash here for our division. Use that slash to show our division, right? You can also write your division question as a fraction like this. Everybody write that example down, right? We're not going to use the regular division sign very often. So if we're thinking about how our rules connect, a simple way to think of it, if the signs are the same, our answer is positive. And if the signs are different, our answer is negative. On these, you just multiply and divide like usual, but if the signs are the same, then your answer is positive. If the signs are different, then your answer is negative. Here's a little visual for you to see. When your signs are the same, your answer is positive. When the signs are different, your answer is negative. It's the same for multiplying and for dividing. Okay, let's practice. Try those three. This parentheses means multiply. You're just doing 3 times 5. -4 times -6 gives me a positive 24. And a positive times a negative gives me a negative 16. Good. Let's practice with dividing. Remember that fraction means division. Go ahead and
like on the side.
You can, but these are right. These division you can do in your head. Remember, work backwards. Think 8 times what's going to get you to 40. Right? Whenever you're dividing by 0, it's going to be 0. So even if it looks like this, don't be thrown off by that. It's still 0. Okay, you're going to go ahead and try this page here, and then we'll check it. So take a look at my answers here. Make sure yours match it. Remember, we're working on writing an equation to match our word problems when solving, not just the answers. The first thing you're going to do is con. There's only 2 cons to do. Once you have 75% or higher, then you can start on your math space. These are, you have tonight and tomorrow. Remember, I put the grades in on Sunday, so get this done by Sunday.
By Sunday what?
We'll just do Saturday night.
So when they have to.
Let me show you a couple examples before you get started. When you have one with multiple parentheses like this, remember, rewrite it first without your parentheses, right? We're getting ready. The next thing we're going to do is going to be the order of operations with integers. So we're practicing a little bit with just adding and subtracting when you have multiple parts on there. Then remember, get in the habit of solving these left to right. So each time solve one step along the way and then rewrite it. What would 8 minus 18 give me?
10.
Right, positive or negative?
Negative 10.
-10. You only had $8. You want to buy something for 18, so you owe your mom $10. Remember, it's been a while on our exponents. This just means 9 to the second power means we're doing 9 times 9, not 9 times 2. Right? Don't forget that. Give yourself a little example there. Oops, not 61, just 6 there. You can have a negative number with your exponent.
It can be negative.
Yeah, so if you had negative 2 to the third power, everyone write that one down, negative 2 to the third power, because you're going to come up to me and say, I don't know what to do, Miss Feynman.
I remember how to do this. It's like,
So here, once we write it out, we can see that my answer is negative 8. The absolute value. Some of us got a little confused still on the test on this. Remember, absolute value like this. What does absolute value mean again?
that's the whole number is positive.
Ayel?
How far the number is away from 0?
How far it is from 0. So first you need to do 6 minus 3, which is 3. Right? I would simplify what's inside your absolute value brackets first. 3 minus 8 gives me negative 5. Now I find my absolute value and then I subtract. What would 3 minus 5 give me? Negative 2.
Wait a second. No, it would be a positive because the two negatives.
Remember here, you're subtracting, Alois. This is like you had $3. If you want to buy something for $5, you owe your mom $2. Okay? All right, you can start on your Khan Academy when you get 75% or higher, then work on your math space.